How's it going, everybody? So this is my old McLane Reel Mower. Just picked this up off Craigslist not too long ago. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do the engine swap on it and update the front roller with the reel roller, and just kind of go through step by step how to do it and what I'm using, just in case you're wanting to do it as well. Now this model, according to the Briggs & Stratton engine here, says it's from 1981. So, and this thing still actually runs really well. Whenever I first got it, it was kind of running pretty weak. And even though the carb had been redone and the pulley, this is a new pulley, was put on it, everything was, it would run pretty good, but the throttle linkage just wasn't working quite properly. So I just did a little adjustment on that. And I mow my backyard, the Bermuda, about every 2 to 3 days. So it seems like every time I mow, this thing runs a little bit better each time. But man, it's so loud and old. So anyway, we're going to do an update on it. If you're looking to do an update on a McLane, here's a few things that this is all new to me. So but here's a few things that I would look for had I known what I know now. So this model, like I said, is an older model. So to engage the reel, you have the throw forward, and for those of you that don't know, that'll engage the reel, and it'll also engage the self-propel. Whenever you want the mower to move, this one lowers. Let's see if you can actually see that. So this one lowers the self-propel down to actually touch the wheels to the ground, but this unit right here, through the pulley system hooked up to your chain drive there, actually engages everything. Now, one thing that I would look for if I was doing this all again, just for safety purposes, and it may even work better, I've never used one, I don't know performance wise if one's better than the other, but I can see the safety benefit is the dead man clutch, which I can't even find another one of these on the market to even get an example of it. But the dead man clutch has a lever right here that you lift up to the to your handle and hold on to, and what that does is that engages your pulley down here to engage your reel and your self-drive or self-propel. And then if you were to happen to fall down or anything, like the name says, dead man, if you become dead and let go, it disengages all of this. Whereas in this one, if you throw it forward, everything's engaged. So you have to grab hold of that lever and pull it back. Most importantly, this is your first lever that you usually grab, which is to lift the self-propel these wheels off the ground. So that's one thing I would look for, is if you're shopping for an old McLane to actually do this swap, is to look for the dead man clutch, preferably. Now this is a 20-inch, so you can also go up to a 25-inch if you want. But it's in really good shape. It's a 5-blade, so I wish it was a 7-blade, obviously. And reels on these things are quite expensive, but this 5-blade actually works really well. Cuts paper all the way across, nice and sharp, not too many dings on it. And so it's just yep, it's about to get a lot of TLC. She looks rough, but like I said, she's from the 80s, so early 80s. So yeah, let me see here. So what I think I need to do is take this bolt off and this one off, and this will pull this tab out to get to these two bolts, which are underneath the deck. And then also on the back here, you have a bolt here and a bolt there. And in theory, I guess unhook your, where's it at? Unhook the throttle cable, and then in theory this engine should come right off. So then the next step will also be taking this front reel off, or the front roller off, this system, and unhooking that bolt as well and pulling that off, and then we're gonna hook up the new product. So let me show you what we're gonna go with today. Alright, so here's what I ended up going with. I went with the Briggs & Stratton XR 127cc, 3.5 gross horsepower at 3,000 RPM. So the reason why I went with this motor, this engine, is this was 220 bucks shipped to my house. Okay. Now I know some of you have probably read about Predator motor from Harbor Freight. You know, you can definitely go that way. I've seen one video on that one to where the guy had to modify a few things with his handle, and I think with the mounts on the deck there. But overall, I mean, if you're really wanting to go the full budget way, that's the way I would definitely go. But this one for 220 bucks with the warranty. You know, I was like, hey, you know, it came with the Briggs & Stratton, and we'll put a Briggs back on it. And so that's why I went with it. 3.5 horsepower. The other one's 3 horsepower. It's probably running more like 1.5 right now. So anyway, so let's start turning some wrenches. All right. So let's go ahead and take this little grass thrower off first. All these bolts are 1/2 inch. Is that right? Yeah, that's what I grabbed. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rolling here. Okay, so I just discovered after tooling around with this for a long time. Yeah, I got these 2 bolts off, but it doesn't want to come out until right, I don't know if you'll be able to see the bolt. So this bolt, you can see the top of it right there. So I've already unscrewed it, but it's this one. Anyway, this one's got to be loosened up, and then she comes right on out. Now I'm going to start taking these 2 bolts off, and then I'll move the camera around and take the other 2 bolts off as well. Oh, actually, I think one thing I probably should do is I'll just go ahead and take that belt off just in case it were to fire. But okay, so I got all 4 of the bolts out, belt off, and again, recommend probably just take the belt off first instead of about halfway through. So I'm going to take this throttle linkage off actually, because I do not really know how it's all linked up right there, but if I unhook all this and feed it through all the brackets here, should just be able to lift the engine right back off. So alright, let's take a look. Let's see. Alright, she comes right on off. Alright. So yeah, she's pretty dirty. So I'm gonna wheel it out, put a little Dawn soap on it, scrub the oil and grease off of that deck, and then we'll dry it off and bring it back in. Alright, we just got back from washing. Maybe someday, whenever I'm not using this as much, I'll probably do maybe do a paint job on it. You know, that'd be pretty cool. I probably won't paint it the original colors. do something fun or something like that. It'd be a good winter project. But for now, right now during the mowing season, I'm definitely just getting it back going. She doesn't have to look pretty. She just needs to run and work well. Now I do have the old clutch set up. So some of you may not have this, and I've never seen the dead man clutch in person, so I don't really know how that works too much. But however, when my handle, let me come up from this side actually. So whenever I engage this clutch, that shoots that wheel forward, and which engages the belt. Now I've already adjusted it, but before this little this wheel and mechanism, whenever I would push it forward, would go this way, and it would go off the belt, and the belt was actually rubbing right here and running along the side to engage. And what I would have to do at that time, now I've only had this for a few weeks, this was just, you know, something I just noticed, but the previous owner, I don't know how long he probably did this, because that belt was really worn, was I loosened this out to slide that out. Now however, it does tighten back up and ends up throwing the belt, so that's obviously not the correct fix. But what I had done, and if you have this too, is this bolt right here, which has paint peeled off of it. That bolt right there, all I did was tighten that up, and that kept this arm from moving this way and to throw straight forward. So we should have better success with the belt engagement this next time around. Alright, so let's go ahead and put the engine in. I've dried off the surface that we're going to put the engine. Let's go ahead and lift her into place. Alright, the nice thing about this Briggs & Stratton motor is I have a hard circle right here, and then I have a wide circle right here to make adjustments. So that should help it with the fit integrity. So let's find out. I did have to order a new pulley. I got this one off Amazon for 17 bucks, shipped for 25 plus shipping from McLane at the time that this video is made. So let me see if this will go on here. The old pulley on the other engine was a smaller bore size, I read. So let's see if this will. Okay, so that does fit on there properly. Good. All right, so let's see if we can get the holes. It kind of rubs right there, which is funny because the model that I read, which, you know what, I didn't verify if the other one online was a 20 or 25 inch, that said that their Predator rubbed, because this one kind of rubs as well. So if it does, then yeah, we may have to do a modification on this bracket, but which would probably just be a hammer. Okay, we got a little hiccup here. As you can see, not quite, but the bolt holes almost have like bubbles. Bolt holes are a little bit to the left, and the issue is we were hitting that bracket right there. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do is I'm just gonna take this bolt off, and then I'm gonna put some washers and just space it out just a little bit. It doesn't need much. So anyway, sit tight and we'll give that a shot. Alright, so a little modification here. You got a spacer, comes out about that far. See, it's just barely not touching that, so I don't want to touch the engine. And that baby is firm down on the side, but I mean, as far as it goes, That's just for just a support, not a key. Not too key of an element. So, like I said, probably on a 25 inch, that won't be an issue, but on a 20 inch, I guess that's an issue. So, anyway, we solved that problem, so let's go ahead and throw the rest of the bolts in. Alright, so we got all 4 bolts tightened down. There's 2 in the back as well, and it fits great. Now, another issue I just ran into, which I got lucky on this one. So, the pulley. This pulley is a different pulley than the one that was on the 81 motor over there. And, which it looks like it would have the same problem as well. Maybe that one sits a little higher. I don't know. Anyway, so the issue is, so here is the system for the clutch, right? Well, if you don't have this on, it hits right there. So luckily I had put this on, just kind of tinkering around with it while I was taking a break before I bolted it all the way down and slid it into place. So yeah, it hits right there. So hopefully you didn't already do that. I'll throw that in the description as well a little earlier, just to let you know that kind of got lucky if you have this type of clutch assembly. Now if you don't have the clutch on, then obviously it wouldn't be in the way. And there may be another way that I'm just overlooking on how to put this on without having to take your clutch assembly off. Alright, so let's go ahead and set the pulley onto the wheels here. And let's see if I can figure out how to do this on the new system. So go down and around. And then now, let's go ahead and disengage. Oh, there we go. Disengage and then push this down. This goes around there and there. Come on, baby. Alright, let's push it back forward and back in. Okay, wow. That is a nice fit. And that'll just lay right there. Just don't grab hold of anything just in case it does kick on. But I'm just kind of rotating it through, just making sure my clutch wheel is in line with the pulley. Just take that all the way through. And that's where I want it. Take a step back. And yeah, that looks in line to me. Alright guys, so we got the engine all mounted up, the pulleys all lined up, at least for now. Okay, one thing I noticed that's a little bit tricky. So you have this long rod with the bolt on one end, and the nut goes on this end. It goes all the way through wherever you're mounting it. I'm putting it in the middle holes because I want to start mowing just a little bit lower than what it's been doing. So about this section right here, you actually have to screw it in, or at least I had to, and then it'll slide to about right here, and then now you have to screw it back through this other side as well. So if it's not going for you, that's probably why. So anyway, let's finish on going. Alright, so as you can see, I had to screw it from about right here, well maybe more right here, all the way through. There's like a little insert right there, and screw it through this one as well, so it can move the roller. It goes in right there. I put it in the middle hole. And so now we just got to reattach everything. All right. Let's put it all the way forward. Oh, I need to paint that black. That would look so much better. And guess let's take a look here. so we'll put that, let's hook that right there. This goes okay, and this spring, something like, oh yeah. Okay. Alright, there it is. Alright, everything's buttoned up. Reel's on. Put the deflector back on. Belt's disengaged. We got fuel, we got oil. So now we're going to give it a start here. Turn ignition, choke, turn the fuel on. Go to full throttle. Choke's right there. Alright guys, there it is. McLane 20-inch 1981 full upgrade. Briggs & Stratton XR 3.5 horsepower. The 20-inch grooved roller from Reel Roller. 5-blade. So I'll end this video with a nice cut. Take it out back and let's see what it is.